following is an Outland Sports video production.
Little combination of good scouting, a good grunt call, and a quality rifle made a great hunt this morning.
The power behind this gun, I mean, that turkey strutted in there and you actually blew him over. It was a little bit wet last night. We were in the freezing rain. I was concerned about the moisture. It didn't affect the rifle at all. It performed beautifully.
Talk about a South Texas stream.
When you cock this back, this piece of flint, and it strikes that prison, it flies open like that.
That is some kind of place there. 1889 that was built. Some tremendous workmanship in that. Unreal. Hi folks, I'm Brad Harris and I want to welcome you to Lohman's Black Powder Classic Hunts video. You know, black powder hunting encompasses a lot. It's kind of like the tradition of this old home that was built way back when and the modernization of this four-wheeler. Black powder hunting encompasses all that. You want to be a traditionalist, you can hunt with a traditional flintlock, percussion cap, mountain rifles, things like that. And you can go all the way up to the ultra-modern black powder rifles, the inlines. You know, that's what's neat about black powder hunting. You get a lot of great opportunities, it can extend your season, and it's a tremendous challenge. And the best thing is there's a lot of information there to learn about black powder. And the main thing is follow the manufacturer's recommendations when it comes to dealing with black powder rifles and black powder itself. You know, it's a great challenge to get out there. We got some great videos to show you. I want to start you off with some super deer hunts. You know, deer hunting is very popular, and black powder is a great way to extend your deer season. So let's take a look at some classic deer hunts coming your way.
Our whitetail adventures begin in north central Oklahoma, preparing for the opening day of muzzleloader season in late October. Most of the bucks are still running in bachelor groups, with the rut still weeks away. The day before season, Lohman Pro Staff Director Brad Harris had scouted an area where the river bottom timber meets the prairie at the extreme ends of the draw. After pushing 3 nice bucks out of their beds, he decided to set a stand in hopes the bucks would return from the feeding fields to their bedding areas the next morning.
I was there, right through the clearing, right through there. Where's my grunt call? Oh, man.
After getting into the stand well before daylight, Brad was immediately greeted by a 10-minute torrential downpour. Forgetting his rain gear, Brad did the best he could do to protect his muzzleloader. Wet, cold, and with most of his equipment still in his fanny pack, including his calls, Brad soon spots a nice pair of bucks. As the cameraman tries to get focused, so does Brad as he searches for his grunt call. With the first buck already passed by, the second is nearly out of range as well before Brad can find his call.
He's coming back right through the trees there. Oh, jeez.
Fortunately, the grunt call has done its job. Now Brad is hoping and praying the muzzleloader will go off.
Buck come through there. It's been raining. I didn't have my rain gear. I just didn't figure the gun would go off. I was in there depressed. Buck come through there and he got by my clearing. Another buck went through. I thought, doggone, looking for my grunt call. I finally found it after they got by me. Grunted a couple times and boy, he just wheeled and come right back. He ended up walking over about 30 yards. I mean, it just hammered him. And the gun went off, even in this bad weather. And did a number on him. The grunt call worked. It was just a great morning. He's right down. He's only about 25 yards this side of the tree. Let's go down and take a look at him. Nice buck. He went down hard, deer. Good gravy. Look at body size. Big body deer. Didn't really have that. Nice rack. Nice 8-pointer. Got a good mass. What a great hunt. It's amazing. As you can see the clouds in the background. I didn't know he was going to pull this off or not. Clouds come rolling in just before daylight and it rained. I got soaking wet, left my rain gear in the truck. That was real smart. And I kept my gun, tried to keep it dry. And I didn't know if it'd go off or not as wet as it was. But man, we found this place yesterday afternoon. We saw some bucks in here yesterday afternoon bedded down. So we waited, come in, put the stand, and set up for a morning hunt. And we set up here and sure enough, they come up Island Bottoms and started up these drains. And heck, it was just right after daylight. It was just right at daylight. Here they come up through the draw. Got by me, two bucks. They both got by me. Grunted him back. Just amazing.
Now let's join David West, host of Americana Outdoors, for an early December muzzleloader hunt.
This is it. That's where we're going to spend some time and hopefully see some deer. Now, we left this brush here so it kind of hides you a little bit. You guys come in here and, of course, you'll be in the ladder and you got a place to sit there. We got a camera stand just above it. He's a couple feet above you. And then above that, of course, you can see we got the hook up for the camera and everything. Safety belts are up there. Put the safety belts on as soon as you get in the tree first thing. Got your haul ropes here. Shouldn't have any problem getting here in the morning. You follow the wood line like we followed this, you know.
Okay, now what can I expect here? Where are the animals generally moving?
Generally, you can expect them anywhere. We're still in the rut. We still got some bucks chasing doe, so man, you can just look out in the wide open, here they come. But generally, they're coming out of the ravine back here behind you, and they're trying to diagonal across the edge of this field. Now, some of them will come out of the end down there, but most of the better bucks have been coming out of this ravine and coming out and checking this field for them does in the evening. So
Okay.
you kind of expect that. How's that muzzleloader shooting?
Man, it shoots great groups. I'm real impressed with that black powder.
It's interesting, I tell you that.
Man, I'm looking forward to this.
And this is your first muzzleloader hunt?
This will be my first muzzleloader for a
Wow.
white-tailed deer.
Great, great.
So it'll be my first Kansas hunt as well.
Absolutely, and they're here.
Well,
They
we'll
are
find out tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Is it time?
I think we better get out of here.
I don't want to mess this up for tomorrow.
No, we better get out of here and let these deer calm down.
Well, let's go to the house and get something to eat.
All right, we got some grub there.
Hey, what? I like these four-wheelers, too.
I tell you, we're getting in and out of these wet fields and stuff, Dave. It's the only way to go. You know, the ranchers don't like the roads tore up too bad, and these things do a good job.
Well, I can understand that.
Can they come in?
Brad Harris has placed David's stand in an area where the does are cutting across the corner of a pasture, moving from their bedding area to their feeding area. Not surprisingly, the first deer out this evening is a nice young buck. Although not a buck David wants to shoot, he decides to try his grunt call and see what happens.
brush is so thick, he's not 30 yards right here.
With a few subtle grunts, David pulls the buck right to him, giving him an up-close encounter with a very curious whitetail. As the sun begins to set, the does start filtering across the open field.
Look at this buck. Oh my goodness. Ha. He's it. Let me get another load in real quick. I can't even get it open. He's down. Get another load in, because if he gets back up, I've got to get another round to him. I can't even do this. He is down. Please don't run off. Please don't run off, baby. Can you believe this? This is awesome. This is Kansas whitetail. This is beautiful. Look at this. This is a Kansas whitetail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 19, 20 inches inside spread. Nice, beautiful whitetail buck. Just beautiful. Beautiful deer. My first black powder whitetail. Awesome.
Now let's join General Manager of Mad Calls and good friend to the folks at Lohman, Mark Drury, on a whitetail muzzleloader hunt on the 6H Ranch in South Texas. Owner of the ranch, George Hinesley, had done some scouting and knew a nice buck was in the area. So this afternoon finds Mark set up along the banks of a small creek, waiting for the deer to begin filtering down the draw. Later in the afternoon, a group of does begin to pass by. And bringing up the rear is the buck Mark has been waiting for. With a thick oak brush between him and the buck, Mark is hoping the buck will follow the does and cross the creek. But on the way, this big boy decides to stop and work over the brush. Finally, the chance he's been waiting for.
Oh, baby, yes. What a buck. Oh my gosh. We had deer all over us in here tonight. There was does walking up through this ravine. There's an oat field out here on the backside. They're just all coming up through this beautiful green right here along this creek. And a little buck come in, and I saw some does running across the creek, and I looked over there, and sure enough, all I saw was a rack. And I looked over, and he came in and he started rubbing a tree, rubbing right over there. Then he come off of the embankment. When he was coming in, I could see he was really wide, and he came up, and I looked at him one time, and I knew he was a good, mature 5.5-year-old, maybe 6.5-year-old buck. He is a dandy. I think I made a good shot. What a hunt. What an absolutely awesome hunt. Woo! Oh yeah. Look at there, he's bleeding good. There's where he went off. Oh, there he is, right there. Look at that. Oh, man. What a buck. Oh, you talk about a South Texas dream. That is a dream buck right there. He's got width, nice big 10-pointer, and what a body on this South Texas deer. Coming from Missouri, I'm used to seeing fairly large bodied deer, but I was surprised when this guy walked out tonight. What a buck. And what a hunt he gave us. We were set up along this oak patch, deer filtering up and down this draw all evening. We had a little buck come in, had several does work in on us, and then finally this guy shows up across the creek. He made a rub, come down across the creek and came on in. What a beautiful South Texas whitetail.
Now let's join Mark Drury on another whitetail adventure. Located in a shooting house to help give him a better vantage point, Mark watches a nice buck and a group of does along a corner fence.
Boy, look at that buck. That is a beautiful buck right there.
The 6-H Ranch practices a strict deer management program to help keep the herd healthy and in check. So when Mark was asked to help out, he was only more than happy to do so.
There's that big doe right out of that tree. I made my mind up that I was going to try and harvest a doe. He tries to keep his ratio at least 1 to 1, and for every buck that he takes off the ranch, he tries to take a doe or more. And he asked me to help him with his management program and take a doe, and I got excited because there's something about shooting a deer, whether it's a mature doe or a big buck in the eastern hardwoods. No matter when you have that adrenaline rush or where you're at, there's always something special about it. And I think that's what's special about deer hunting in general, is the excitement that it brings forth and the joy that it gives all of us in our hunting season. And I know it's going to be a hunt I'll remember for a long time. She's a beautiful doe. Feel fortunate to have had the chance. Nice hunt.
Folks, got a special guest with us today. Doug, I appreciate you being here.
You bet, glad to be here.
You know, we're talking about muzzleloader hunting, and Doug is the traditional muzzleloading guy. In other words, he's into the history of the muzzleloading and actually the history of the hunting and the sport itself. As you can see, as he's dressed up in his buckskins that he made, knives, powder horns, the whole 9 yards. These guys are into it like Doug, are into doing everything themselves, and they even build their own muzzleloading rifles. Doug, show us what you got there.
This is a rifle I built for my brother. It's a flintlock rifle made out of curly maple. And the way this goes off, you know, you load through the muzzle your powder, patch, and ball. And when I'm just out target shooting, I use a spit patch, which is quick. And to load one of these, you got your priming pan here. You got a touch hole here. You fill your prime pan full of priming powder and put your frizzing down on top of it. And when you cock this back, this piece of flint, when it strikes that frizzing, it flies open like that, and it's actually burning pieces of metal off of this frizz and strikes that priming powder in the pan and sets her off through the touch hole.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You got to have good flint there, and there's a lot involved in that rifle right there. But the tradition is what's there. This is the old-time muzzleloader that people like you still enjoy hunting with today, and they still work great today. Another I guess the opposite end of that, Doug, is the modern muzzleloading. The modern systems now, again, they still load from the muzzle end, but they have a more of an inline or direct line of fire into this breech, which makes them a little more, I guess, dependable and a much quicker fire. So they got the modern look. They still load in the muzzle, but you still have that personal touch of black powder. We're going to go and load both these guns up, touch them off, and see what they do.
Well, Bradley, here's how I load it, just the old flintlock way. Take a measure, and I'm shooting a 45 caliber, and as a rule, I shoot about 60 grains of powder. Get my powder in.
What size powder is that? What type?
It's this is a 2F powder, and you can shoot a 2 or a 3F, just depending on, after you do a little shooting, see which one you like.
Okay.
And just the old style is just take a patch and get that wet just a little bit. Put that on top of your barrel.
Okay.
Take you a short starter, and I use my knife to drive her down with, because I've hit that on my hand so many times that it hurts my hands when I do that. And then you need a good sharp knife to knock that off with. Then drive her on down. Pull out your ramrod and drive her down good. And then she's loaded. All I've got to do now is put my priming powder in and she's ready to fire.
So you put a little touch of priming powder in here, and it's a finer grain, isn't it?
Right, it's a 3F powder, a 3 or a 4F powder.
3 or 4F,
So it'll go fast.
a little faster.
Yeah.
You got that loaded. Now let me load mine, and we'll just kind of match up the old modern,
All right.
or the old traditional to the modern.
All right.
Basically, I load the gun the same way, Doug, except I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is the traditional powder, or the modern powder flask with the glass see-through, and I know you haven't seen those probably, but you can see through and see what you're doing. But even more ultra-modern is the powder pellets. I mean, here you got black powder pellets ready to go. So all you basically do is come over here and drop in. They're 50 grains apiece, so I'm going to shoot 100 grains. And I'm loaded with powder, okay? And I'm going to grab my bullet, and my bullet has already got a little wax on it and grease. I don't have to spit on my bullet, thank goodness. And it starts in there real easy. I'll go ahead and start use this as a short starter and get it down there a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and take my ramrod out of here, and we'll just get this thing started down in there. Okay, I got that in there real good. Flip that baby around here. And Doug, that thing's ready to shoot. Now what I'm going to use instead of your powder and your flask is we've got the percussion caps. Simply pull that back, put your safety on, and remove this safety nipple that you got in here. Snap that on, we're ready to go. Let's go shoot them and see if we can make the most smoke.
All right.
Well, Doug, we got them loaded up, so let's see if you touch yours off first, huh?
See if that will go off.
I'm going to back up if you don't mind.
All right. I'm going to stick a little priming powder in there.
She's ready. Good shot. It did go off. And it made a lot of smoke too. Well, Doug, I tell you what, ain't no doubt you made more smoke, and then you hit the bullseye too, so you put the pressure on me, buddy. I'll go over and try this thing out.
I'll stand behind you too.
I don't blame. I tell you something, this is a brand new gun. I have not shot it. First time ever been shot. I just put a cap on, percussion cap, I put a cap on the nipple. That thing's ready to go. So first time this gun's been shot, we'll see what happens. And I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to use a sight vise as well. That way I make sure at least I'm holding still, whether I hit anything or not. I'll tell you what, Doug, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You whipped me this time, and basically, because you shot offhand, that was a heck of a shot. But this ain't bad for a factory gun right out of the box and never been shot. That's a pretty good shot, so I'm excited. But it's a lot of fun whether you go traditional or whether you go modern.
There's no doubt that muzzleloaders have come a long way from the pioneer days of Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett, but several hunters still enjoy using these primitive weapons, including Brad Harris. With the ground covered by a light snow, Brad is set up along the edge of a power line. It's early December during the muzzleloader only season in Missouri, and Brad is looking to fill his tag and hopefully his freezer with some tasty venison. As the day passes, Brad notices two young bucks making their way toward his stand. As they start to veer away from his direction, Brad immediately goes to the grunt call.
I don't know, I was on that front one. They started getting to her wind. They was coming to the call, but they started getting to her wind. I was right on him. I don't know. I may have, one little tree there. I may have clipped that branch, but we'll see. I was right on him. We'll have to go take a look. It's cold. It must be 27 degrees and the wind's blowing. And these deer are moving a little bit this evening, and I seen them coming across the woods. I hit the grunt several times, and I got them to turn and come down through the woods a good ways. And they turned and started to get, cut across their wind, try to win the call. And that's when I took the shot. Oh, smoke rolled, and I couldn't tell what I did. That was exciting, though.
After a short wait, Brad goes to investigate, but further inquiry shows he did clip a branch with no sign of hitting the deer. And although he didn't fill his tag today, Brad knows tomorrow is a new challenge. Lohman Vice President of Sales Dave Billman uses the monster grunt call to try and pull in a nice buck from more than 200 yards away. A good tip when grunt calling to a buck you can see is to keep him coming. If he stops, call immediately. Keep coaxing him in. As the buck searches for the source of the call, David waits patiently for the cameraman to give him the okay. The buck comes in close and circles, but communication between the hunter and the cameraman is lacking. The buck gets a whiff of scent, but still offers an easy shot. As the smoke clears, it's still cloudy as to who is at blame.
How in the world did you miss that deer? I could have killed him with a hedge apple. I could have killed him a lot better earlier, but
Why didn't you?
why you didn't say
I
nothing?
couldn't. He was 30 yards.
You could have just said yes.
And I said I got him.
I never heard that. He came forever.
I know.
Well, if you've ever hunted, you've missed, and you know how it makes you feel. But when it's captured on video, and even the cameraman gives you the dickens, it makes it twice as bad. Now let's join Greg Ritz, who's teamed up with Lohman to hunt whitetails in the Midwest.
There's deer. Looks like a doe. See her. That buck's coming into there. That buck's coming into that ground. That buck smells that hot doe that came through. About a half hour ago, there was a doe that came running through. Those bucks have been chasing her. We've been grunting all morning and they just keep crossing right in front of us. It's been a great thing. There's deer. Looks like a doe. Wait. There's a buck, there's a buck. Oh, he's hit. He didn't go far, just ran off in the thick stuff a little bit. And what a fantastic hunt. Beautiful day. And this is one of Kansas' finest.
new fallen snow covering the ground this December morning, Lohman's Dave Billman is set up along the edge of a gas line. As the temperature rises and the snow begins to slowly melt, Dave watches a group of does. Sensing something just isn't right, the does start to move off.
There's a buck. And that buck, we had 3 does come into us. And I think they spotted us and took back off. So I was just glassing them just to see what they were gonna do. And from the right this buck came into view. And I hit the grunt call. I used that touch tone. I hit the grunt twice and then the bleat. And man, he just came right in. Folks, had a great hunt here this morning. Got to the tree stand and just a little bit of snow on the ground. Just made for a beautiful morning. Been in the stand about an hour and 3 does had come in. We were trying to get a little bit of footage of them, and I think they caught us and they spooked off, and I was going to glass them as they were going off and seen a buck come in to my right. I instantly went to 1120 touch tone, hit a couple grunts, and then I went and touched it. This is the doe bleat button, hit 1 bleat. This buck just turned and just came right in, gave me a 30-yard broadside shot.
There's one right there. Oh, that's a nice shed. Nice shed. I tell you what, folks, just doing some scouting here, looking forward to next year, and finding sheds like that gets you excited. Spring of the year, this area burned about 2 weeks ago, so all the stuff you see is short, fresh, green grass. It's a great time to look for sheds. So if they burn in your area in the spring, right after those burns, get out and you'll find some sheds you never would have found before. Hey, how about those deer hunts? Some great hunts there, a lot of great opportunities. You know, the thing about the black powder and the whitetail, most states offer special black powder seasons, giving you more opportunities to spend quality time outdoors. You know, the thing also about black powder is the fact there's a lot of things you can hunt. Everything from small game such as squirrels and rabbits all the way up to the biggest of big game. Right now, we're going to join a good friend on a black powder predator hunt. We're going to go after coyotes. You know, again, spring of the year, those coyotes, you know, they're predators. They work on young deer. They work on turkeys. If you're a deer and turkey hunter, you need to be a predator hunter. And predator hunting with a black powder offers some unique challenges, as you'll see coming up next.
Now let's join Lohman field tester and veteran predator hunter Jim Hutchison on a late spring coyote hunt. The day before, Jim had spotted some coyotes in the area while hunting, but wasn't able to get a shot. So today, he's decided to slip back into one of his favorite spots and make a few calls. Now Jim knows when you're predator hunting, the action can happen fast, but that's what makes for exciting hunting. Toting his .50 caliber muzzleloader, Jim eases into position and begins to camo up, then reaches for his call. Expecting a coyote to come out of the draw, both Jim and the cameraman are caught off guard when instead one pops over the hill off to their right.
Dang it. I missed him. Dang it. I missed him. I can't believe that.
Oh, I can't believe I missed him. Boy, he popped up right over the top of that hill. I was expecting him to come down through here. And this valley down here below me. Boy, when I turned my gun to shoot at him, it kind of got me in an offset way of aiming at him, and I just kind of pulled to one side. Boy, I can't believe I missed him. He is on top of us in just about 3 minutes' time. Boy, I tell you, this is the fifth setup we've set up today, and called in some good places and set here. Started calling. I started using this coyote howler that Lohman makes. I use it as a rabbit squealer also to call, and it works pretty good for me. And as you see, I missed him. It wasn't the gun's fault, but I guess that's part of it. I guess turn around and load my gun back up and go try it somewhere else. See if we can get another one.
Well, there's just a lot of good crossings up and down this fence. I love to hunt fence crossings in the fall of the year. Them little deer like to come through here, and this would be a good place to set a stand this fall. Old Jim had a couple exciting coyote hunts, and just like all critters, a lot of times they'll do the unexpected. And you're facing one way and calling, next thing you know the coyote pops up the other way, and hey, you got one chance, you better make it good, especially with black powder. But hey, we all miss. I don't care what weapon you hunt with, you're going to miss, but the key is having a great outdoor experience, and he had that. The thing about hunting predators, and particularly coyotes, they offer a lot of year-round opportunities to hunt because every state is loaded with them. They're almost a nuisance in a lot of areas. But you know, it's the spring of the year, and that brings to mind my favorite springtime game animal, and that's the wild turkey. I'd like for you to join me on a couple of classic black powder hunts that I've had in the past, and then we'll go with the world champion turkey caller, Mark Drury, as he accompanies me on a great Missouri black powder hunt.
Across the canyon. Steep canyon. I'm just going to set up right in here and see what they do. They have got the vantage point up there. And it's steep here. The place is kicked out to sit. Keep him sliding off this hill.
Hunting in the steep hills of South Dakota, Lohman Pro Staff Director Brad Harris locates a pair of gobblers across a steep canyon. Knowing the toms have a bird's eye view of the area, Brad elects to set up and see what happens.
They're on the edge of that field. And they can see all the way up down this canyon forever. So I'm just going to sit here and see what they're going to do, see if they'll move out, move up or down or something. Give us a chance to move over there. Just kind of test them out here a little bit. I'm just going to hammer them because they like it.
Dealing with multiple birds can be difficult and generally makes for tough turkey hunting.
Here they come, they're flying across. They're flying across. Two of them. That's longbeards.
It looks like Brad's aggressive calling has done the trick to make these two toms fly all the way across the canyon. Now his only problem is trying to decide where the birds are going to show up next, to his left or to his far right.
What a great hunt. It's steep in here now. It is steep. I tell you folks, this has been just a wonderful morning. Look at that beautiful gobbler. Beautiful gobbler. What a great morning. So steep here, you gotta keep him up against your leg, keep him rolling off. I tell you, I'm winded. These birds, we didn't get on them. They're so far away. There's 2 of these canyons over from where we parked this morning. Took us a while to get here. We got here, these birds were gobbling strong, and we started down to them. I was gonna go do this cut and go up on the hill with them. But they gobbled and moved out on the edge and was sitting there watching that hill and watching this draw. And I thought, you know, we better take our time here and see what they're gonna do. Are they gonna move up or down, move back out into the clearing? So we sat here and started calling, trying to feel them out. They kept gobbling. We just started hammering them on the box call, mouth diaphragm, and boy, they just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. About 15 minutes, I heard them, you know, they're gobbling. They were coming down the hill. Instead of walking down, they got about 3/4 of the way, no, they got about halfway down actually. And they just, both of them, just flew right across and landed on the next point beside me. And then, once they dropped, when they got on it, they gobbled once and dropped down in this steep drain, and I knew they was gonna pop up somewhere. I thought they was coming to my left, so I turned to my left. They came to the right, as usual. But fortunately, they were just so enthused in the looking for that hen that I just went ahead and moved my gun slow to the right, and they just stood there trying to check me out and gave me a 10-yard shot.
Leaving the Black Hills behind, Brad heads off to the beautiful South Dakota prairies to try for a second smoke pole gobbler. But here the birds are still bunched up in fall-like flocks. Fortunately, the open country allows Brad to do a lot of glassing and gives him the luxury of being able to set up where the birds are wanting to go.
I see at least 4 strutting toms in that bunch. Man, there is a bunch of turkeys in there. But they just aren't doing, they're just not responding to the call, but they're coming down this draw. I'm gonna ease up here, right to that mud bank up there, and see if we can't do something with them.
Being able to get in front of the flock and do some soft coaxing on his mouth call allows Brad to try and pull in one of the toms for a closer look. The Realtree Extra Brown Camo blends in perfectly as Brad raises slowly, looking for a tom he knows is close.
Tell you, it's a beautiful evening here in South Dakota. We're hunting in the prairies, and these birds are henned up bad. The big toms have got a lot of hens with them. Makes it tough hunting, makes it tough calling. And many times when conditions are like that, you just got to get where they want to go. And basically that's what I did. They were coming feeding down this canyon here, and just several toms and a bunch of hens. And I just got out in front of them, crawled up on that bank and laid out in front of them and just done some little soft calls. And one of the toms pulled and came to me. So many times you just got to be where the turkeys want to go. It isn't your calling ability. You may do a little more scouting and try to pinpoint where those birds are going. It'll help you out when they're henned up like this.
Our wild turkey action continues with Lohman's Brad Harris and Mad's Mark Drury hunting together in the Ozark hardwoods of Missouri. After locating a gobbler on the roost, Brad and Mark immediately set up. With his inline muzzleloader primed and ready and the Featherflex decoys in place, Brad patiently waits as he and Mark do some team calling.
One thing I found with the muzzleloader, especially this one, you really need to get down on it good. And fortunately, he did a great job calling, and that bird came in close. He's probably 18 yards from me, and boy, the smoke that's what I love about black powder. That smoke goes out, and it's almost like, okay, let's see what's going on here.
It was a vivid memory for me. I was watching the turkey and watching you, and all of a sudden I could just see that it was almost if that smoke reached all the way to the turkey, and it was quite a hunt this morning.
You know, black powder does add a really unique twist to hunting, and I really enjoy it. You know, you load your own shot, you got one shot, you better make it good.
You did.
Mark, thanks a lot, man.
Hey, man, thank you. I enjoyed it. My pleasure.
You know, the black powder sure offers a lot of great opportunities for anybody who wants to get involved. You know, it's quite a challenge, and it's just one of those things that will give you a lot more opportunity to spend more time in the outdoors, and that's what it's all about. You know, the scouting and everything we're doing now, we're getting ready and working on the next Lohman black powder video. We hope you enjoyed this video. We just ask you to take time to share the outdoors with the youth of today, and always support sound conservation efforts. I'm Brad Harris. Enjoy God's great outdoors.